how to take a graphic that you created in Illustrator and save it and then import it into Adobe After Effects so you can then animate it in After Effects. So I'm in Illustrator right now. I have this graphic in here that is divided of a beetle. It's divided into different vector paths that I want to bring in After Effects and be able to animate. So I want to animate the individual legs and maybe animate the antennae and stuff like that. So this graphic in Illustrator is all under one layer at this point in time. So all of these shapes are under this one layer. So in order for After Effects to read the individual layers, we need to get all of those layers onto their own layer. And so I'm going to open up that layer and I'm going to highlight all of the layers within that layer one. And up here, I'm going to go to my options panel, and then I am going to choose Release to Layers Sequence. So what that did was just put all of those on their own layer. They're still embedded in layer one, so I want to actually have those out on their own over here. So I'm going to highlight them again, and I'm going to click and drag them into the empty space down here in my layers panel. And now I can see they're no longer a child of layer one, and they are all on their own layer. At this point, I can go ahead and I can delete layer one. So if I turn this on and off, I can see it's not doing anything. So I can just delete that layer. And layer two, nope, layer two is something, layer three. I feel like layer 12 also is just the background. So I'm going to get rid of that as well. And so now I have my layers. Or all my shapes on their own layer, and I am going to save as an Illustrator file. Let's just save this on my computer. I'm going to title it Beetle for AE. Okay, and I'm going to save it as an Illustrator file, AI file is what I'm going to save it as. I'm just going to hit OK here. All right, so now I'm going to open up After Effects, which I already had open, so we didn't have to wait for it to load. And I'm going to create a new composition here. And my graphic is actually black, so I'm going to create a white background. I'm going to have a white background on my composition so I can have some contrast and see it. And I'm just doing a regular high definition 1920 by 1080 square pixels, and 2 minutes is good for me. So I'm just going to say okay. Zoom out a little bit here. I'm just make sure I'm seeing the whole thing. Okay, so now that I'm in After Effects, I am going to import that Illustrator file. So I'm going to go to File, Import, File. And I'm going to find that file. So Beetle for After Effects is right here. And this is important right here. You have two options, import kind and footage dimensions. In import kind, you want to choose composition. And in footage dimensions, you want to choose document size. If you choose layer size, all of the shapes will not keep their orientation in your file. They'll all just be stacked on top of each other, and then you would have to reorganize them. So if you keep the document size, and everything's in its right place. So I'm going to hit OK here. Now up in my project panel, I can see a folder here that has all my layers from Illustrator that I saved. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag and drop that into my comp. And now I can see I have my graphic. It held its, all the shapes held their position, which is good. That's what I wanted them to do. And now what we need to do is actually convert all of these layers into shapes. So I'm going to select all the layers. They're already selected, but I'll select them again. And in the layers menu, I'm going to choose Create Shapes from Vector Layer. So I'm going to go to Layer and create shapes from vector layer. So now what that did was create a shape out of each one of my layers. And so now you can see I have this shape and I can animate that any way I want, which is super exciting. And now I'm going to go back and I am going to delete all of my Illustrator layers because I don't need those anymore. And I'm just holding down Command, highlighting them all at the same time, hit delete, they're gone. And so there you have it. So in another tutorial, I'll maybe show you how I'm going to animate the rotation of these legs to make them feel, look like they're moving, and maybe a little bit of animation and movement on the antennae as well. So there you have it. Illustrator to After Effects, lots of potential with that. Enjoy.